All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about what will stop your transmission from completely pulling. Um, Had a lot of people call me, and I'd like to be able to just let them go to my video and see why that their transmission may not be pulling. So I'll try to make this as short as I can, but I want to cover all I can about what can cause this transmission to stop pulling. Now, I've had some strange situations through the years. I've had people to tow their vehicles here, their four-wheel drive. They got out and was playing around and accidentally kicked the shifter up into neutral, and then they towed the vehicle here thinking they broke something in their transmission. So check all those things first. Make sure that their four-wheel drive is engaged, your two-wheel drive is engaged. Check those things before you start calling a transmission shop to make sure that something crazy hasn't happened and you're in neutral with your four-wheel drive unit. Now, if you're a two-wheel drive, anytime that you put your vehicle into park, anything behind the output shaft is broke. When you go to park, your transmission will make a loud grinding noise because the parking pawl is trying to catch and this shaft is turning. So it could be, something beyond the transmission that has stopped your vehicle from pulling. But most common problems with vehicles stop pulling is clutch plates. Your clutches inside of your transmission have went bad, but usually when that happens, you only lose either low or reverse. You won't lose both. So if you have lost both, if both gears are gone and your vehicle doesn't move at all and your transmission doesn't engage at all, then some of the things that could be going on are right here. This is your torque converter. Your stator splines up with this center, and if this stator would break right here on the pump, if Cody can zoom in there, if this stator would break, that splines into here, or if this center piece would break on your converter, it'll stop you from pulling. Sometimes they will pull a little bit when that breaks, but very seldom do they pull at all. Your pump splines into here. Without fluid pressure, without your pump turning, then you're going to stop pulling. So if anything would break in this area, you might get a leak, but sometimes I have seen these break off and not leak, and the vehicle won't pull. I have seen the pumps break inside. I don't think we'll be able to get a visual of it, but the pump gear slides down into these two ears, and if that would happen to break, your vehicle is going to stop pulling. Now, I have seen flywheels which bolt to the back of this converter. I have seen these bolts back out and break. I've seen the center of the flywheels break, and your vehicle's going to stop pulling. And it'll do it suddenly too. It won't be anything like it's gradually happening. I've seen output shafts break. Your output shaft will spline into your drive shaft. I've seen them break inside the transmission where they spline into the planet set, the ring gear. I've seen them break. That will stop you from pulling. I've also seen where you lose forward gear only. Anytime that you lose forward gear or reverse, but you have one or the other, then you're probably just dealing with clutch failure. Your clutches apply to go forward and apply to go in reverse. It'll be two separate sets of clutches. Therefore, it'll stop it from pulling one way, but it will continue to pull the other. So those things may be the reason that you are not moving, the car is not moving at all. One of the most simple things that we deal with is if you pull the shifter, or if you've got a floor shift, or whichever way your shifter is, If you pull your shifter and that shifter feels like it is not connected to anything, you could have broken the cable. The grommet could have popped out on the side of the transmission where it sits onto the side of the transmission. Usually that will only happen when you're going to park or to the gear. You know, that you'll get back in the vehicle and you'll pull it back and there's nothing, because that has broken when you put it up in the park. You've broken that grommet or you've broken that cable. So you don't, you know, those things right there are easy fixes, and they're a lot cheaper than all these other things that I've been pointing out. But you know, always get a mechanic, a transmission guy that knows what he's doing to check these out. And that way that you don't get a misdiagnosis and replace a transmission. If, you know, I've had people to order transmissions, have them sent to my shop, then send the vehicle to me, and then when the vehicle gets here, we just got a broken cable. Now we've got a transmission sitting here, we've got all this set. Let someone check that vehicle out that knows what they're doing before you ever have that vehicle towed to a shop, because it could be something simple. It does not mean that your transmission is completely shot. I've had axles break on front wheel drive vehicles. People will tell them to me, transmission's gone, Rod, need to get it fixed. And when I get underneath of there, it's a broken axle. If either side axle breaks, the transmission's gonna quit pulling. Both axles has to be good or the transmission can't pull. So always remember that. Check your axles first, check your cable first, make sure, have someone get in there, move the cable back or the shifter back and forth, have someone under the vehicle or under the hood if it's a front wheel drive, looking at the cable, making sure that the cable is moving. Always hold your brake when you're, if someone is underneath of there looking at that, you don't want nobody hurt, but take it to someone that knows what's going on with this transmission, and they would be able to tell you whether or not you have a transmission issue or you have some other issue outside of the transmission. So I hope this video helps you, and please subscribe.